My name is Benton. I am a musician, a singer-songwriter. Some people call me a visionary. I've done lots of things in the course of my career, my lifetime. One of the things I did also was running a cafe with Stefanos, but prior to that, I'd met him 20 years before when I first moved to LA when I was 18 years old. And he was actually the second person that I met in Los Angeles. My first impression of Steph when I first met him was like, wow, he looks like some Greek god or something. But he was very nonchalant about it and very charismatic and receptive to everyone around him, as if he didn't even notice who or what he was. It was very intriguing. Looking back on the first time I met Steph, one of the most noticeable things about him was his walk. Like, the way he walked was like a lion. The way he moved, and he controlled and owned his surroundings. If I didn't know him, I may have been a little bit taken aback by it, a little bit scared, but because he was best friends with my fiance, I felt totally comfortable around him, and he's an amazing and very genteel man. But when you first see Steph, he's quite striking, and his presence is very powerful. Well, when I first met Steph, I knew that Steph was in the industry, but I didn't know exactly what, because I mean, he was my friend, so we just hung out together, you know, and got to know each other. I later found out all the movies that Steph was in and how big of an actor and star he truly was, because he was always so humble around us. He was just like, he would literally tell people I was like his little brother. That's how close we were. And later on through the course of my career and his career, when we found out about one another, we were both like, whoa, okay, you know, you're very serious with your craft and you're quite talented at it as well. But the funniest story I have to tell you is there was a time period where Steph was a bouncer. It was at a restaurant, a private restaurant that was known in the industry called the Buffalo Club. And Steph was bouncing at this club/restaurant. And there was a very wealthy Saudi that wanted to get into the restaurant. You know, whenever you'd go there, you'd see tons of cars roll up, the Rolls Royces, the Ferraris, the Lambos. And so this guy was adamant, and of course you could not get in without, you know, having a reservation. But this man wanted to. He tried to buy Steph off, you know, here's $500, here's $1,000. There was all kind of celebrities in the club, and Steph would not let him in. And so finally he walked up to Steph and pushed him and berated him, called him all kind of names. And Stefanos told me that he took this man and he threw him on top, like he put him upside down so the guy was on his head, and then he just let the guy drop. And he said it was like everybody around him was just in shock. Some people were laughing, some people were screaming, the guy was crying and all in pain and everything. Like, why the guy decided he was going to put his hands on Stefanos, I'll never know. But I've seen people, you know, react to Steph when Steph had to throw down on them, and it's not a pretty sight. But when he told me that story, I was laughing my ass off. It was hysterical. I'll tell you a story about one of Steph's girls that was really pretty funny. Steph was dating this beautiful Jamaican model, and he told me about her. And he told me that she was quite wild, and I think they had a torrid love affair towards the end of his life, like a couple years before he passed away. But this woman, she thought Stefanos and I were dating at first. Like, she met me in passing at the gym, Market Street Gym, and she became really, really jealous. And Stefanos and I never had anything intimate going on. He was truly my brother, probably because we're both Leos, and we met through my ex-fiance. It was just a taboo for us to even go there emotionally or sexually or physically. We never even looked at each other like that. It was strictly like my blood brother and his sister. So, but the girl, of course, when people would see us walking down the street, they would always say, "Oh, hi, your wife or your girlfriend's so beautiful," and we would both laugh, you know, because that's just not us at all. Not to say that Stefanos wasn't beautiful; he's gorgeous, but I loved and respected him as my brother. So anyway, this girl saw me that he was dating, and she went crazy with jealousy, and it was so bad. It was to the point where he was training me at the gym, and my mother was with us. She was inside the gym too. She was visiting me from Michigan. And the girl started banging on the door. She saw my car and she started banging on the gym door like a crazy person. I was actually afraid for Steph. Like, I didn't want him to go out there. I was like, bro, are you serious? I'm like, just try to calm her down. Call her on the phone first and calm her down, you know, before you go out there. He's like, no, Bo, I have it. Don't worry about it. She's going to be okay. I'm like, and I was so scared for him, because I know he's a gentleman and he would never hit a woman, but this girl was crazy. And so he goes out there and I hear all this commotion and this rustling outside, and I think that my mother and I were listening through the door, and she was trying to go crazy on him while we finally opened the door, and he had to hold her on the wall and like tell her, like, look, you know, there's nothing going on between Bo and I. Bo is my sister. There's nothing going on. And I had to come out and I was like, look, kid, this is my mom. We're not going to lie to you. You know, nothing's going on between me and Steph. I'm really like his sister. And then I had to hug the girl. Steph hugged the girl. And we were all trying to talk to her really nice, but she just wasn't hearing any of it. And yeah, she stalked him so bad. She actually climbed through his bedroom window. Like, I don't know what he was doing to these women, but I mean, that was one of my crazier Steph stories. Yeah, she actually broke into his house and was climbing through his bedroom window. So, something that I really missed when Steph passed was working out with him and the conversations that we would have during our times working out. We work out a lot on the beach, you know, either close to his house, because he lived right on ocean, or closer to the cafe or the gym, you know. And just there's really nobody else I have. Well, there's a couple of friends I have to talk philosophically with and about life and where we're headed. But with Steph, it was always eye-opening. His insights about life and philosophy, and he always had a great book that he would recommend, or sometimes he'd buy books for me. One of the books he bought for me that was really pivotal in my life was The Master and Margarita. It was a really, really good book that he referred me to read, and a lot of the philosophers he would buy for me, the books of the philosophy masters, and give to me, that really changed my life and opened my eyes to a lot of things. I miss that, you know. I miss talking about our dreams and things that we were going to accomplish. I just got finished building my garden, like all these garden boxes, and I remember Steph talking about how it's so good for us to be growing our own vegetables and to live organically and live in harmony with nature, how important that is, because we are a part of this vast system that's going on. I mean, Steph was a force of nature, so of course he fully was aware of the forces of nature and our place in them. So I do miss that, you know, talking to him about all that. When I found out Steph passed, I had just gotten back from Switzerland, and I was gone for the Christmas holidays, and I had spoken to Steph right before I left. He wanted me to come down and train with him. This is after the closing of our cafe, and I've been traveling a lot and working and doing different things, and he wanted me to come down and train with him. I hadn't seen him probably for 5 months. I hadn't seen Steph. And right before Christmas, you know, I was running around, rushing, doing all my things before I had to go away, and he wanted me to come see him then. And I was like, bro, I'm sorry, you know, I'm rushing, doing all this Christmas shopping and different stuff I got to do before I get out of town. but I promise I'm going to see you when I come back. And he said, okay, you know, and I still have that text message in my phone. I never erased anything. I kept that phone just so I could keep all my text messages from him so I could read them sometimes. And yeah, so one of our mutual friends called me and told me that Steph passed, had I heard. And it was literally the day after I got back. So, you know, you having jet lag from Europe or whatever. So I was just trying to get my bearings straight, get my week organized. I was going to call Steph and let him know I'm back. One thing I did notice, I texted him Merry Christmas and he didn't text me back, which was very unusual. He always texted me right back. No matter where I was in the world or where he was, we always would text each other for the holidays and our birthdays, and he didn't text me back for Christmas, so I was a little hurt, but I was like, well, maybe he's busy, you know, things are going on with him, you know, I'll see him when I get back. And yeah, when I found that he had passed away, I was devastated. I had a bit of regret and remorse that I didn't go see him when he asked me to. And it was bad. I lost like 10 pounds. I went into a complete state of hysteria because he'd already been sick, and we went through all that with him thinking, you know, he's gonna be all right, he's gonna make it through, he's gonna come back stronger and better. We all had that belief in our minds. Everyone had been praying fervently for his health to come back. And when that didn't happen, it just felt like the rug was pulled up from under us. His mother is a beautiful, strong, healthy woman who's, I think, about 90 years old right now. So I thought that Steph would live a lot longer. You know, you always think that your people are going to be there for you. You never think. I would say, other than my great-grandmother who passed away, who I was very close to. She died when I was about 14, and I went into a Great Depression when she died. That was the second most devastating loss in my life. Because he was like, if I had to call somebody at 4 o'clock in the morning, it would be him for anything. If he needed me for something, I was always there for him, no matter what. And having people in your life like that, especially of his loyalty, you know, the type of person he was, he's like a unicorn. You only get maybe one unicorn or two in your lifetime. You don't get many. So when he left, a lot left with him. I lost 10 pounds. I couldn't go to his funeral services. It was too much for me. I was in bed for about 2 weeks. It was bad. It was really bad. Yeah. If I could talk to his family, well, first of all, I wouldn't say anything. I would just give them a big hug and kiss. I mean, I spent some time with his mother and his sister. Of course, I was very close to one of his nephews who also helped us run the cafe, Iridanis and Calopi. There's no words for that type of loss in a family. You just help them bear it. You just help them bear it as much as you can. You know, we all felt the burden of that loss. I would just give them a hug and a kiss and tell them I am very happy to have met him, Stefanos, and them as well. You know, what can you say? I'm really happy that you all are doing these documentary segments on Steph, and I think more people need to know about him because he's truly a superstar. I am so happy to have known him. and to be able to call him my friend and my brother, because he definitely helped change my life for the positive in so many ways. The things that he taught me and the laughs that we had together, he was just the funniest person. Like, just really, we had some great laughs together. The travels we went on together. Like, Steph was my boy. Like, he was my buddy. So I'm really happy you all are doing this documentary so more people could know about him and know about the legacy that he left behind.